Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade, and we're back to our weekly webinar. A special welcome to the new people. And the title here says Trading Prospects Mapping Out Your Week Ahead. And what we're trying to do here is pretty much simple. We're trying to create our plan for the week. And as some traders like to use the phrase, you plan your trade, then you trade your plan. As I always say, in life, not just in trading, in any aspects of our lives, some planning wouldn't hurt. It just creates order, creates structure, so we wouldn't have to do some spontaneous or reactive actions. A few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade, and my trading career started in the year 2000. I started as a prop trader in New York City. I did it for about 11 years, and then I moved away from intense day trading, and I started also to mentor and educate others. And currently, I'm very happy that I have, excuse me, that I have an opportunity to assist our customers at AvaTrade. The agenda of the webinar, what we do here, we talk a little bit about fundamentals. We take a look at economic calendar. And we go through indices, some stocks, commodities, and forex. Try to make sense of what did happen and what might happen the upcoming week. Risk warning: you can find the full statement at avatrade.com website. And of course, what we'll do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. These are the channels of AvaTrade. You can subscribe if you'd like. I would suggest definitely to subscribe and get updates. You have Telegram, you have X, which was Twitter, and my favorite, as I like to say, YouTube channel. You have a lot of information there, tutorials, educational material. You have webinars. If you missed the webinar, don't stress. You can find it in our YouTube channel. We are recording the webinars, including this one, and it's being posted on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. Click on likes if you do like it. Click sharing if you'd like others to benefit from this. And when you subscribe, just click on that bell so you'll be notified on new things coming in. Okay, so few things. As you know, or as you watched on Friday. Friday was all about NVIDIA. You can find a lot of articles and analysts speaking about it. Market was up. NVIDIA was tremendously up. It was up more than 5%. It ended up being down more than 5%. So some analysts are saying they were trying to find a reason and they couldn't find any specific reasons. Maybe just simply the buyers or the shareholders decided just to take profits. So we'll take a look at NVIDIA's chart shortly. So NVIDIA on Friday lost about $125 billion, and that's they say the largest drop on record for the company. And I looked into it. This article actually, you can find some information there. The stock dropped 5.7% last year on May 31st. And currently, the market value of the company is at 2.188 trillion. And on Thursday, it was at 2.2 trillion. So 128 billion erased from the company. So, NVIDIA has been running. When we see the chart, we'll see tremendous move to the upside. And it's all about artificial intelligence. The chips that they make are in high demand, and things were really, really great for NVIDIA so far. Let's take a look at economic calendar, but before that, just a few things what happened last week. The key things, as we mentioned last week, preparing for the week, we said that Powell will be speaking in front of Congress. That was Wednesday and Thursday, and it looked like market took it in a positive way. So it looks like uh, among the traders and analysts, it's kind of priced in that June interest rates were coming. And then Friday, excuse me, Friday we had employment data. We had more jobs added than expected. That was kind of positive to the market, but not so positive for the Fed's action. But then on the other side, the increase in unemployment by 0.2% was kind of balancing it out. So the new unemployment level now it's at 3.9. Last one was 3.7. So the market took it initially in a positive way, but then, as we said, Nvidia sell-off and it market start really selling on Friday into the close. So this is what's waiting for us in the upcoming week. Again, a few things, especially for new people, about economic calendar. This is public information. You can find it on our web trader or the app or any provider of economic calendars. You can just Google if you'd like. It all comes from from the same source. What I do here, I take out only a high impact event, as you can see in red. And there's more. You can filter through it. You can choose what's relevant to your trading. And as always, I like to mention that knowing about certain things coming out in economic calendar is crucial, whether you use it in your trading or not, but just being aware of certain things coming out at a certain time, it just helps you to avoid some unexpected moves and panic. Okay, so these are the things for the upcoming week. We have GDP numbers from Japan later tonight. We have on Tuesday, we have consumer price index from Germany, employment data from UK, and this is the key data for the week. As we know, the Feds are paying attention in their decision making to three aspects: how economy is doing, how inflation is doing, and employment situation. Excuse me for my coughing. It's still there. So this week we have the CPI numbers, and normally, logically, currently, if the CPI numbers are lower than expected or in line, or ideally would be lower, that would be a positive for the market. It's been like this for a while, that the Feds would be getting uh, more convinced that the inflation is getting towards their uh, target, which is 2%. If inflation is going to pop up again, like we did last month, the market might take it in a negative way. So that's why this round of CPI data is very important. And of course, the whole market is waiting for it. On Thursday, we have a PPI numbers, also important numbers, and retail sales are showing how the consumers are doing. And we have Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index on Friday. So these are the things, the high impact events that are happening in the upcoming week. Before we go into the chart, just wanted to show you, as we try to follow every week on the 10-year yields, which is something that affecting the markets, of course, especially it affects US dollar and gold. As you could see, this week it's been going down. We mentioned the previous 2 weeks, I think, that the range was between 4.2% and 4.32%. And this week we fell below that and continue. We touched 403 on Friday. and then we close somewhere in between of the range of that day, 407. So when we get to US dollar and gold, we should be seeing gold going higher on this move on the 10-year yields and dollar moving lower. So we'll get that in a moment. Okay, so let's first of all, let's take a look at NVIDIA. So I'm going to take the MT5 here. Take a look. NVIDIA, just take the chart here. NVIDIA has been moving vertical, as you could see here, with the gaps. Uh, This is the weekly chart. So January we were at below 500, and on Friday we hit the high of 973. We're talking about almost 100% move since the beginning of the year, and that's not even 3 months, right? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 weeks. Here we go. So when you go on daily chart, as you could see here, we had correction here, and then the earnings came out, and the stock just gapped up and continued. And if you take 1 hour chart just to see how Friday worked out, we had another gap up. We opened at 950. The previous day close was at 916. We tried to move higher, and that was a sell-off on the 3rd hour of the trading right here. Huge range from 954 high to 880 low. And then the following hour we continued lower. Then we tried to bounce, we couldn't. So we closed pretty much at the lows. Okay. So that's your NVIDIA. Just tells you that things are flying, but at some point there is a reversal. It could be anything that we don't know, some kind of inside information. It could be simple as analysts are saying, just profit taking. The buyers just decided to take profits. It could be anything. So let's see how things will work out. Just to remember that Nvidia really moved the Nasdaq up and S&Ps up in recent months by moving this extremely to the upside. So that's Nvidia. If we're already in chip makers, I just want to show you something that might be interesting. This is the AMD stock. If I'm not mistaken, um, they created chip. We all know that there's a technological war going between China and US, as US has banned the Huawei products, and China in return is blocking some Apple products to be sold there. So US prohibited the local companies to sell chips to China, especially AI related chips. So I think last week there was a news that AMD created a chip that should be safe for selling for China, and they were ready, I guess, to sell it, but then the US regulators prohibited it. So the AMD reacted to it in a negative way as well. Okay, so let's go back to MT4, and we'll go through our usual suspects. So we'll start with indices. Let's take a look at China really quick. As you could see, that 12,000 was rejected, and we didn't try to hit it again. Japan, we had a huge move to the upside at around 40,000. 40,290 was peak. Then this past week we tried to go higher. We couldn't. We hit the high of 43.40, and the last 2 days we moved lower. Of course, Friday's reaction could be kind of in sympathy in the U.S. reaction to the downside, but also when we get to FX or to currencies, I'll show you that yen is gaining the strength, which is not so positive for the Nikkei index. We'll take a look at the moment. So that's as far as Asia. Now let's take a look at US indices. Dow Jones actually suffered the least. because it didn't really run as Nasdaq and S&Ps in the past few days. We closed pretty much flat on Friday. We are far from the all-time highs. Here's your S&P 500. After making that all-time highs when Nvidia turned around, the S&Ps closed lower. Now the question here is this a temporary profit taking, or we are moving downwards from here? And there's a lot of controversial opinions from analysts. Some saying we have another move, AI-driven move, maybe another 10% to the upside. Other analysts say that the stocks are overpriced and so on. So a lot of opinions on both sides as usual. So I guess we'll find out. And of course, as I mentioned, this week's data, the inflation data, will be something that will give us a little bit more direction. And here comes Nasdaq also after hitting that all-time high. We did sell on Friday. Germany has been very, very strong. And as you could see here, after making all-time high again, Friday was sold together with the US markets. And UK hasn't been so strong comparing with other indices. And UK FTSE sold on Friday after trying to break through the previous high here from February 19th and 20th. So that's as far as indices. Now we spoke about NVIDIA and AMD. Let's take a look at a few stocks. Let's see how they do. First, Boeing. With the issues since that event when what's the name of the company? Alaskan Airline, I believe. And when they had an issue, the door fell off or something like that. Since then, it's been a lot of issues coming up with Boeing. And as you could see, since that initial sell-off, we are trying to break below, and we are below the psychological 200 level there on Boeing. Let's take a look at Microsoft, how it did. It didn't sell off as NVIDIA because it didn't, at the same time, didn't try to make that all-time high. Just to remind us, Microsoft right here hit more than $3 trillion and bypassed Apple. Since then, the stock's been trading lower there. Tesla's been selling. We just broke through 180. And let's take a look at big guys here. Google has been weak. Actually, it's interestingly enough, Friday when the market sold, Google was in green. And that happened after we sustained the 200 moving average here. So let's see if the market regains strength. Maybe Google will try to move higher here. As on the sell-off day, the last 2 days, Google's been bouncing from here. Apple stock's been selling. Again, recently, company was hit with $2 billion fine from European Union, I believe, and other issues, including China banning the products and so on. So Apple has been really giving its positions of being number one company since hitting here. And the stock looks really, really weak, especially here. If you could see these huge gaps to the downside. Amazon, since it entered the Dow Jones, it gave a little bit of boost to Amazon. The stock is strong. After hitting here the high of 180 on the 4th of March, we've been trying to hold close to their price. Let's see how we continue from here. Netflix. I tell you some great shows on Netflix coming out. I will not advertise it, I guess, but they putting up some great TV series and movies. So the stock's doing good, I guess. As you could see here, we tried to break through this 620 area, and the company looks healthy. Fundamentally, and here on chart, it looks pretty good. GE, we spoke about GE as the stock's been going higher, and it did reverse on Friday Now there's a split, not the split, but the spinning off part of the company. The energy will be split off, and GE will be focusing on aviation. So this is something to take into consideration. Now, Walmart, since the split, I don't know, we still didn't adjust this chart here, but since the split, Walmart's really holding to their price. Some analysts are very happy about the stock, and it looks like the Walmart is in favor of a lot of analysts and traders. Now, I just want to bring really quick Teva Pharmaceutical, something that we've been talking for a while. Take a look here. We are breaking through here. Again, for new people, just to bring the reason why we're talking about Teva, we've been talking about it for quite a few months since I noticed that the stock's been traveling between $7 and $11. So every time it came close to 7, it bounced back. And here, after making a higher low and breaking through the previous high, around $10, $11, the stock continues higher. And I think a week or 2 weeks ago, some analysts are setting up a price tag of $19 to Teva, which is doable. I guess next resistance could be around $19, $20. So it's doing really, really good. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive months to the upside. So that's as far as Teva Pharmaceutical. And let's take a look at Facebook or Meta. The stock is strong. Friday, we hit the high again and then the sell-off across the market since NVIDIA triggered that. So let's see how that works. So again, this week's data will determine a lot of things and maybe give continuation and direction to the upside or reversal. Depends how the inflation numbers are coming up. And let's take a quick look at banks as part of the testimony of Powell was on the banking sector as well. So on Thursday when the testimony was there, this is JP Morgan, the stock went down. Friday tried to bounce, came down again. So it looks like the banking stocks are cooling down here. And let's see what's next. There have been a very strong special JP Morgan making all-time highs. Let's see if we see continuation or we see the reversal in this sector. Okay, let's move to commodities and start with gold. If you remember, I showed you the 10-year yields selling the whole week. So as we said, the gold should be going higher, and here it is. We broke through this previous resistance here on 2084 and 5 consecutive days, the pretty large ranges. We just went higher, bypassing the all-time highs on gold. And after hitting 21.95, we settled at 21.79 closing. So gold is strong. And let's take a look at dollar. Yes, it worked out. It just moved lower on those 10-year yields. Okay, so that's gold. Crude oil. It's having a hard time breaking above 200 moving average. Friday was a sell-off with the equity markets. I think crude oil went down and closed at 77.84. Copper as well reacted after trying to break through the previous high, as China is not having any continuation, at least so far, for that move above 12,100. Let's take a quick look at it. Right here, 12,100 wasn't really crossed, and the last few days was selling. So copper is very sensitive to that, and oil as well. So copper is selling. Let's see if this continues to the downside, or maybe we'll have another attempt to break through the recent resistance. Natural gas, after a nice attempt to climb towards $2 on Thursday, it sold. Friday didn't have much power, closed at 180. We'll take a look what's next. Let's see if this 171, 170 area remains support. And so far the 203, the previous support here, remains a resistance. So we're in the channel between 170 and 203. And let's take a quick look at cocoa. It's been holding to recent highs. Just to remind us, it's all driven by fundamentals. There's a huge shortage of cocoa in Ivory Coast and other suppliers. It's really low supply of cocoa. And as you could see, it's been moving vertical. Take a look right here. So pretty much, so we broke through the resistance that was exactly a year ago, March of 2023. We've been slowly moving, breaking the previous resistances. And right here, we had few attempts to go lower, but after each sell-off, we went higher here. And this is the level here around current level. We hit this on 26th of February, the high of 6643, 6,643. And so far, we haven't been able to break higher. And you see a lot of tails, a lot of attempts here. So we might retest it again, or we might at some point move. And again, the supply situation is not changing, but the prices went so high that it could cool down at some point, the demand. So less buying will force the prices to move lower. So maybe that's going to happen. Or we go and look for next resistance as well. Also possible. Let's move to Forex. As we said, dollar's been selling. Dollar index, after having resistance here 104, we've been sliding and breaking all the this week we broke all the moving averages, the 50, 200 and or 100 first, the 200 and the 50, and we are closing. We close at 102.69 after traveling to as low as 102.27. So again, this week inflation data will be affecting a lot of markets, including the US dollar, of course. So, of course, when you take a look at majors, take a look. We did break through that channel. As if you remember, 126 to 128 was a channel. We've been sitting there for a while. We did break through it, and that's on pound. And we either continue higher here, or we might come back to this 128 to retest it, and could be establishing support. Same thing, euro dollar. If you remember, we couldn't break 108 for a while, and now we're trading at 109.37. 110 is the next strong level that's been a resistance in many occasions. USD CAD, Friday it bounced on the oil prices moving lower, but the previous 2 days it was a sell-off, of course. Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar moved higher, and they stopped. If you could see here, an Australian dollar stopped exactly on the previous resistance around 16624, and sorry, 06624, and New Zealand dollar also rejected the previous resistance here at 0.6217 and closed lower, pretty much flat on the day. Now I'm gonna wrap up the forex with, of course, with Japanese yen. Take a look. Japanese yen, of course, the weakness of a dollar as well added to the fall of this pair, but strength of the Japanese yen as well. Take a look. After rejecting this 150.85 a few times, this whole week we've been selling, and we stopped or went below, but closed right on the 50-day moving average here at around 147. But if you take a look at Japanese yen against all other currencies are falling intensely. This is our CHF JPY that I've been talking for a very long time. After confirming the resistance here at 170.5, we just fell through and closing at 167.55. So take a look at the weekly chart. It's a nice range here for this week. The high was 170.70 and the low 167.40. So it's more than 300 pips range for the week. So that's against the Swiss franc, against Australian dollar. We're trying to break here the previous support. Canadian dollar as well is super weak against the yen, euro as well, pound as well, but it is holding the 50 moving average here. And New Zealand dollar broke through the previous resistance. So we'll definitely be watching yen. And as we're getting closer to that potential decision of Bank of Japan, as we know, Bank of Japan is the only major central bank that still holds the interest rate negative territory, 0.1 minus 0.1% interest. And the last speech and the last indication that we heard from the central bank or the Bank of Japan, they said they might do something starting April after they settle certain employment issues there. So that's it with the FX, and of course the Bitcoin is continuing exciting traders. We did touch 70,000, I think, briefly. 70,082 on International Women's Day. On March 8th, we did hit that number, and today, as we speak, we're trying to challenge that number again. And some analysts are setting up 100,000. I mean, it's easy to put. You can put any number there. So we are at the all-time high situation. So we could be moving higher. We could be retesting the previous support and move lower for that. It could be anything. So that's what makes the markets exciting. Okay, so again, please subscribe for our channels. You have Telegram, you have Twitter, you have YouTube. Subscribe, click on the bell, be notified for new things. To summarize the week, we had a nice reversal on Friday. NVIDIA triggered it. It looks like it. It could be something more serious. Again, things are getting more intense in the Middle East, with situation in Gaza, with situation in the northern Israel, U.S. being involved, a lot of things building up. So maybe that also triggers the markets. We don't know, but we'll find out this upcoming week. We'll watch the leaders, we'll watch the laggers. We definitely watch those numbers that coming out this week for inflation, retail sales, and other things. And I want to wish you a great weekend, whatever's left. Still have a Sunday, and get some energy. Prepare yourself for the upcoming week. It's going to be exciting and eventful week. All the best. Take care.